Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to our family recovery support meeting. My name is Craig, and it's always a pleasure to bring you some very intriguing information, informative, and I hope you enjoy this one. And so, this article was brought to us by lagunatreatment.com. lagunatreatment.com. The reason why we tell you this, because if you go back, if you miss something, you can always go and retrieve these articles that we find online. And we just want to keep you informed about the family and its recovery support meetings. So without further ado, I'm going to place on the screen today's title, Family Roles and Addiction. This is our family recovery support meeting, and we're talking about family roles and addiction, right? So it starts us off by letting us know that the disease of addiction throws the family ecosystem out of balance. Spouses, children, and other loved ones are often the unintended victims of a person's addiction and can fall into certain family roles of addiction. On the other hand, families can make a huge difference in their loved one's recovery. Here you'll learn why addiction is often called a family disease and how you can support your loved ones in their recovery, right? So one of our today's topic of discussion, defining family. All right. This article says family can be defined in many ways. When we talk about family, we don't always mean the traditional nuclear family, mother, father, children. Family can include the extended family, grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles, etc. It can also include individuals who are not biological family members but chosen family. For an example, godparents of those friends that serve as chosen family, sometimes called victim kin. Essentially, family includes those who have consistent emotional involvement in a person's life. While families are usually connected by blood, they are almost always connected by strong emotional ties. In deciding who should be involved in family therapy, a counselor or therapist will often ask the client who is most important to them and who they consider family. Those people may then be invited to take part in family therapy sessions. All right. And so it's not just the immediate biological family we're talking about extended family, those who uh, you hold near and dear to you. Next, we want to touch on addiction impacts the whole family, right? It says addiction is a pervasive disease, all right? It impacts its impact expands to all the people who love the individual with the SUD, substance use disorders. According to the American Society of Addiction Medicine, ASAM, addiction is even transmitted between families. For an example, women married to women with addiction problems are more likely to become addicted themselves. Spouses who separate from addicted partners are more likely to reduce their own substance use. All right. And so there are many aspects that we're going to touch on tonight. And so we just talked about uh, addiction impacts the whole family. Now we want to talk about effects of addiction on family life. The family of someone struggling with a substance use disorder may suffer greatly alongside their loved one. As the disease of addiction develops and intensifies, family life tends to become chaotic. Family members may not know what to expect from day to day, and may begin feeling helpless to change the situation. Families may experience problems, including, all right, there's 4 bullets that they want us to be aware of. And the first bullet talks about emotional struggles. The next one, financial difficulties. Third, legal issues. And fourth, violence. All right. So those are families may experience these problems along the way. Emotional struggles, financial difficulties, legal issues, and violence. Parental substance abuse affects on children. Children of individuals suffering from addiction may also have developmental needs that go unmet or develop unhealthy attachment patterns. They may also find themselves reversing roles with their parents and having to take on an inappropriate amount of responsibility. These children, as well as other family members, are also more likely to develop substance use disorder themselves. While families often bear the burden of the consequences of their loved ones, substance use disorder, they can also play a huge role in their family members' recovery. In many cases, the addicted person becomes unable to take care of themselves or their responsibilities in the way they used to, and one or more family members begin acting as a caregiver. All right. And so, oftentimes when we talk about, or it just brought to my mind, oftentimes when I think of a caregiver, I think someone, a child taking care of the parent because they have come of age where their health is getting frail, things of that nature. But this article reminds us that even those who may have addiction issues themselves, who can't take care of their responsibilities like they used to, then someone else will have to step in and begin to care about them as a caregiver. The article goes on to say the weight of being a caregiver is a heavy one, all right? And it often comes with feelings of stress, anxiety, depression, fear, and anger. Caregiving is also associated with an increased risk for mental health disorders such as depression. The good news is that while families often bear the burden of the consequences of their loved one's substance use disorder, they can also play a huge role in their family members' recovery. According to ASAN, family involvement in a person's recovery from addiction has significant benefits for both the addicted patient and other members of the family, right? It says significant benefits. You can view the whole recovery and relative series here, all right? It says, next we want to talk about or share with you common roles in families with addiction. Being a member of a family where addiction is active is not easy. There are several emotions that develop at this time, many of which can be complicated to manage in a healthy manner, excuse me. While everyone exhibits different reactions to having a family member with a substance use disorder, it is common for members of a family unit to fall into a role that either allow them to feel in control or help them cope with the chaos surrounding them. The addicted individual. The family member who is struggling with substance use can find themselves living in a continual state of disarray, as their primary focus remains on obtaining and using addictive substances. As a result, their behaviors can change to include the following, right? We're talking about how addiction changes people's behavior. Continue substance use despite any negative consequences that occur because of it, right? Prolonging or continuation of the behavior. Neglecting responsibilities at work, right? Home or school because of substance use. Experiencing cravings for the substances. Developing tolerance, which occurs when an individual must increase the amount of substance they are using to achieve the desired effects. Experiencing withdrawal symptoms when unable to use. All right, these are behaviors. All right, that one take on as an addictive individual. Now we want to talk about the enabler and caregiver under the same roles in families with addiction. The enabler or caretaker, all right, in the family where addiction is occurring, is often the individual is attempting to protect the family members with an SUD, substance use disorder, from the negative effects of their substance use, rather than allowing them to experience the impacts of their use. The enabler, listen close, the enabler personally handles the impacts themselves. So allowing someone to feel what it's like or take the hard road, they begin, the enabler or the caretaker begin to take on the impact themselves. They may also neglect their own needs in order to care for the family member with a SUD, substance use disorder. All right. So that's why we want to talk about how the family has been affected as well, because as you can hear from this article, the family member began to neglect their own personal needs. They began to take on responsibilities of others because, for the most part, they love their family. So, but then there must be a line to be drawn. That's why it's so important to have a professional person get involved in the process. All right. Now we want to talk about the hero. All right. We want to talk about the hero. The heroes in this article is the role of a hero is most commonly taken on by the oldest child in the family unit, similar to the enabler. The hero strives to take care of the individual with a substance use disorder and has a sense of responsibility for them and their action. The rest of the family may rely, all right? The rest of the family, as this article goes, rely on them, which can cause the hero to feel overwhelmed. All right, so we got different roles that people play. We talked about the addicted individuals, talked about their behavior, the enabler or caretaker, the hero. Now we want to talk about the scapegoat. All right, Mr. Sariano, welcome.
Hey,
All right, good afternoon, man.
good afternoon.
All right, it says the scapegoat. When an addiction is affecting the family union, the scapegoat becomes the one who distracts everyone's attention away from the individual with the SUD by developing negative behaviors. Despite witnessing the effects of addiction, the scapegoat is the family member who is most likely to participate in substance use themselves, right? This can lead to increased risk for future personal and professional problems to develop. So now it's what they call a trickle-down effect, all right? Not the addicted person, not only the enabler, but also the scapegoat. Then we have the mascot. Mascot makes attempt to avoid further distress by distracting the family with humor or charm, right? Unfortunately, this coping mechanism often creates complications in adulthood, as they may struggle with handling problems effectively and developing healthy relationship. Right? Is the person who want to ricochet the situation by making humor or try to charm the individual who's going through this situation. Then we have the lost child. The lost child often does not get their needs met or their achievement recognized by other members of the family. They may isolate themselves from their family and experience loneliness and sadness. The lost child tend to lack relationships with others. And so now we're talking about behavioral aspect. So that is something that we really need to pay attention to. And so let's move on to another topic, and that is the importance of family support and recovery. The importance of family support and recovery. All right, and what that look like, what that sound like. Let's tap into that. All right, and so family members and loved ones of those dealing with addiction or another mental health disorder may play important roles. Family support in addiction recovery may look like intervening in a crisis situation, right? Finding treatment options and helping them get into treatment, providing necessary information about their life and substance use that will help the treatment professional provide the right type of care. Next, maintaining health records and providing them to treatment providers as necessary, advocating for their needs and rights, helping them stick with their treatment and aftercare plans, and watching for any significant behavior changes that may signal an impending relapse. This is the importance of family support and recovery. Your involvement has so many benefits for your loved one. Study shows that when families take part in the treatment and recovery process, the recovering person is less likely to be hospitalized, all right, or experience a relapse, all right, more likely to adhere to treatment, more likely to recover from the disorder, right, and less likely, all right, I'm gonna say less likely to be involved in the criminal justice system. Family members themselves can also benefit from taking part in the treatment process. Read that again. Family members themselves can also benefit from taking part in the treatment process. You may ask, how is that? Glad you asked. They may receive education on the disease of addiction and learn healthy coping strategies themselves to be positive contributors to their loved ones' recovery efforts. Many treatment programs invite families into the treatment process through scheduled family visits, family classes, and even family therapy. All right? When major issues in the families improve, the recovering person may be more likely to stay in recovery, and other family members may be less likely to struggle with the same problems in the future. Some good stuff right here. Some really very informative stuff. Next, we want to talk about how can I help my loved ones recovery. Recovery is a lifelong process that requires daily work from your loved ones, but you can also play in this journey. While you may not know exactly how to help a family member with an addiction, there are plenty of ways you can support them. Take part in treatment, all right? That's one way. While your family member is in treatment, they may have opportunities for you to come visit them at scheduled times, all right? Providing your family members is open to it, take advantage of these opportunities and attempt to hold back on expressing your resentments about things that happened in the past. You know, sometimes and people probably don't mean they mean well, but they don't have the intention of trying to hurt us by bringing up our past. But oftentimes people have a tendency to bring up the past, and so this says try not to bring that up. All right, in the past. Express your support and pride that they are getting the help they need to break the hold the disease of addiction has on their life. So this is more like, more or less, encouraging us, you know, along the journey. You know, a lot of times we who are in addiction or we are who are uh, going through the recovery process, we need that encouragement. We need to hear uh, the positive things that we're doing. the things that can keep us, on track. I don't know about you, Mr. Serrano, but I know when I hear on two spectrum, when people bring up the past, it make me feel some type of way, as if that is who I am today. But when I also hear all the good things that I'm doing, it makes me feel really, really good. Knowing that I'm making someone proud of my progress. What do you want to add something to that?
Well, sometimes I feel like when they bring my past, it kind of doesn't help me get past it when you keep bringing it up.
Okay.
It's just like if you keep bringing it up and keep bringing it up, then you're reminding me of that. So it's just like I'd rather you not talk about it because I
Yeah.
don't want to remember that person.
You're trying to get over it. You're trying to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, how it make you feel when people are giving you your flowers?
It always makes you feel good. It makes you feel good inside. Like, damn, I'm doing well. I'm moving on.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, what I like, especially when we accomplish some small goals, I think, man, that means a lot, you know, to always be mindful to celebrate the small victories, the small things that you have accomplished. It
Mm-hmm.
don't have to always be, oh, I got a degree from college or whatever. It could be just the small things. I ran into a situation I didn't pick up today. I didn't use. You know, that's good enough right there to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, I can make it through this process. Yeah, yeah. So all right, man.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing on that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what if I can't visit? Now, this is talking about a family member who wants to take part in the recovery process with a loved one, and then sometimes people may run into a snag or a situation where the facility policies and procedure won't allow us to come visit our loved ones. But let's see what this article says. In some cases, you might not be able to make it to the treatment program for a visit. This may be due to financial constraints, personal obligation at home, or sickness. In-person family visit may even be put on hold at certain times, such as during the COVID-19 pandemic, where social distancing is encouraged or mandated. In these cases, you may be able to support your family members with regular phone, Skype, or FaceTime calls. And so thank God for media. Thank God we're able to have these outlets like you and I are doing. This is what we utilize as our hybrid time because you're still working, I believe, right?
Yes.
Right. And so a lot of times when time constraint or time won't allow us to make it to meetings due to like your situation, my situation, I can't make it to NA when they have an NA or AA meetings because I'm working. And so thank God for social media. Thank God for video and Zoom and all that good stuff. We can sit here and have an open conversation. You know what I mean? And so that is one of the good things that we like about this. All right. Next, we want to talk about, and I believe that will do it for the night. It's hold on. Should I let my family members leave rehab early? All right. What do you think of that question right there?
Oops, sorry, I'm just not feeling well.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think that's a good idea.
You don't think it's a good idea? I mean, what if you want to come home for the weekend and say, I'll go right back?
I don't know. A lot can happen in the weekend.
You absolutely right about that. A lot can happen over the weekend, right? And so let's see what this article say, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right. All right. It says often recovery from addiction involves many trials. Giving up a mind-altering substance is incredibly difficult for many people, especially when withdrawal is painful and when they are no longer able to suppress negative emotions with the substance. All right. Your loved ones may be motivated when they're in the treatment, but become overwhelmed or frightened as they progress in the program. Loved ones may receive calls from the patient begging them to come pick them up and let them leave. All right. It's hard to hear your loved ones in distress, and you may be tempted to come collect them. All right. But it could be dangerous. All right. Here we go, Mr. Sarian. But it can be dangerous, even if deadly, for them to leave. Individuals in the first days of being clean, specifically those who are opioid dependent, may have lost their tolerance and may suffer an overdose should they return home and attempt to use their normal amount again. That's what you was making hint of. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things can go wrong. You can't control your family member's life, but you may have leverage to keep them in treatment. This may include financial or legal assistance, a place for them to reside, or other means of support. All right, and so that's it for this week. Hope that we can stay focused, and I hope this information was informative. And Mr. Sarian, I need you to give me a call, man, either today or tomorrow. It's very important you and I talk.
Okay.
All right. Until next week, everybody take care of yourself.
Okay.
See you, man.
Bye-bye.
All right.